Welcome to the XYHT Virtual Trade Show. My name is Ryan Sweeney, that's David Campbell, and we're both applications engineers for the Topcon Solution stores. Today we'll be going over the field to finish workflow, which uses Autodesk software and Topcon layout tools. So today we'll be beginning with a point cloud that was pre-scanned of an existing warehouse, and David's going to show you how to work with that, bring it into Revit, turn it into layout points, and then I'll be taking back over and showing you how to lay that out in the field. All right, Dave, take it away.
Wanted to take some time to showcase our field to finish workflow. We're going to start out in Autodesk Recap. Autodesk Recaps allows us to register and process our laser scans to document our as-built or existing conditions. Now, for this project, we've scanned a warehouse, and we're gonna say that we're gonna lay out a space here for a new tenant, a new reception area. Now, I do want to notate those lines there. We're gonna use those column lines, existing column lines, for layout. From Recap, I do take the scan into Edgewise. ClearEdge 3D Edgewise allows us to kind of translate those points into parametric families that we can then export into a design application such as Revit. So for this project, I've decided to take all of the existing walls into Revit. Now in this view, you can see I have a couple lines and dimensions laid out. I'm really just going to use these for the layout of my control points. So I'm going to go ahead and select my control points, and then it's going to ask me for the point prefix number, a description, and a role. Now you can choose to place these either singular or multiple points. You can typically choose to place them by a grid XYZ location, or manually by an element or work plane. So you're going to see here that I do choose element, and I'm going to select on my lines. Okay. Now that I have my control points laid out and they're done, I'm going to go ahead and go up to the wall points. And I'm going to use the wall points to lay the points out inside of my wall. Now, from this menu, you can choose the point type, the prefix, the start number, and where we want to place the points of our wall. So you're going to see we can choose the top or the bottom. We can also choose the point role, whether it's going to be staked out, verified, it's an as-built, etc. And then we also have options for placing the points on curved walls or selecting the items that we're going to place the points in. Okay. Now, for this instance, I'm also going to choose track center for this because I want these points to apply down the center of my track. And then when you're good selecting your options, you're going to hit OK. So now that I've hit OK, you can see that the points, as soon as I zoom in here, actually, I'm sorry, you're going to select the walls that you want to place the points in, and then you're going to hit finish. After you hit finish, you'll notice that the points do appear inside of the wall. Now, the points will also show where that wall breaks. For this instance, you're going to notice that the door and the reception counter there are showing points, so where that wall has broken. Now, I do need to make this model available to my layout team. I will do this by positioning this model on BIM 360. So I'm going to go save as. I'm going to put this up into the cloud. Now, as this is loading, I did want to notate that I am showing the workflow for the new version of layout that pulls from the document management form of BIM 360. If you are using the older versions of layout, you will need to go through BIM 360 Glue to make that model available. So now that it's up, I'm going to save this into my project files in my field to finish project. Now, as this is kind of saving again, I wanted to make sure that I noted if you are using that older version of layout, you will need to use Glue. All right. So it is saving my model up to the cloud here. And once it's done processing, once it's done loading up to BIM 360, your team can find and view that model. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to BIM 360 really quick. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and navigate to this file, my folder, and there's my model. Now, once I click on that model, you'll notice it opens up into a viewer. Now, anyone involved in this project can see anything inside of this viewer. Now, you'll notice that I'm only showing the points here. So that is a good note too. Anything that you have shown or hidden inside of the view when you load it into BIM 360 is going to show. Now, I did also click on these versions here. So with the versions, you can tell the differences and compare the versions. So every time this model changes, it will update a version change inside of BIM 360. So as this loads up, we can zoom in and see exactly what changed. So for version 4, you can see that I added the reception, like the countertops. Now, again, the key takeaway for this is going to be that your team can verify whether their work has changed, or, I'm sorry, whether their scope of work has changed, okay, when they can look at the different elements. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Ryan Sweeney, who's going to take care of the actual layout portion for us.
Thanks, Dave. I'll be taking over now. So here we go into opening, connecting BIM 360 layout. Now, before going into BIM 360 layout, it always makes it nice and easy if you connect to your total station prior. On an iPhone, it would be going into your settings and using Wi-Fi to connect to the LN series total stations. If you're on Android, you'd be connecting to Bluetooth to the various options you have. So we're going to get started, and we're going to go and open up BIM 360 layout. I was previously signed in, so it'll auto log me in, and we're going to go to the PPI groups of models so we can show you right from the beginning. We're going to switch from merged models over to our model groupings, and you can see our Revit warehouse is right up the first one, but you'll notice that all of our projects are available to download as long as you have been given access to them. So we're going to go right ahead and click right into that Revit warehouse and right into that Revit warehouse model. It's going to load up right in BIM 360 layout. And from here is where you can start either annotating or connecting to your total station and collecting measurements. And to do that, you'll be clicking the blue or black crosshairs in the bottom right hand corner. And when you're connected to your total station, it'll say, instead of not connected here, it would give you a nice green warning that says connected. And from there, you'll be able to start setting up your total station, which we'll be going into next. Okay, now that we're all connected, we're going to go and set up our total station. So I walked right on over to our first point. I know where the first control point is that I wanted to start with is, and we're going to go line up that XY positioner right on the point. Now we're going to connect to we're going to set up our total station height, our target height, and now we're going to go and shoot our first control point. We're already set up on it, and we're going to hit next. Once you're connected, as soon as you get into that first screen where I showed you in the last step of the little target, it's going to automatically ask you all these resections set up and walk you right through all these tutorials, which is nice and easy. So after we took that first shot on point 1, we're going to go walk right back on over to point 2, and just like we did in step 1, we're going to select point 2, and then in the right hand corner of the little box, we're going to hit next once we're set up, level, and right on top of point 2. Once we do that, the LN150 is going to tell us our residuals on that resection, which you can see here in the BIM 360 layout app. And if those residuals are good for you and within an acceptable tolerance, you can say, okay, great. And now we can go on and lay out into the next step. Okay, so you'll see here, we're starting to lay out our points. I walked on right on over, and now you'll start to see the fine movements. The total station will track you as you move, and it'll direct you right towards the point on your iPad screen. So you can see that here as I'm adjusting the XY positioner and that laser light. You can see in the upper right hand corner of that iPad screen, those numbers and that distance to the point get smaller. So once you land on top of that point, you're good to go. You can make your mark, put a pin in, whatever you guys typically use in the field to designate that point is here and it's been laid out. You can also go and select collect in the upper right hand corner, and that'll take a shot of wherever you are. So in this situation, because we're laying out the point, we'd be saying I want to collect a staked out point, and that will save and record. So the guys in the office will know you've laid this point out. This is where you put it. These are your residuals on it. So everything gets recorded, and you don't have to worry about points being missed. You don't have to worry about someone forgetting layout points because there's going to be a record of that showing. The nice thing about it too is you can also use it for as building. So as you're walking around your job site, if you need to take a shot of a specific thing, you can just hit that nice easy collect button, and you can change the name of the point. You can set them on different layers and point types. So that way everything stays nice and organized. And as these files get worked on and saved, they'll be automatically uploaded into the BIM 360 cloud space. So everyone in the office will have access to these points that you shot and laid out. So now we're going to move on to just laying out another point. The nice thing about using the XY positioner, which you can see here, versus a typical 2-meter rod pole or adjustable rod is the fact that this uses the laser pointer as the tip. You have right here, we have a 360 prism screwed right on top of a line laser or point laser. And where that point hits on the ground is exactly where the point you're trying to lay out is. So if you're on a sloped surface, something corrugated, you can still make your mark on that surface without having to worry about the tip of that rod slipping or sliding, or, did I actually hit that tip or not? This is going to give you a nice focused beam so you can just make your mark right there and keep things as accurate and as tight as possible. All right, guys, unfortunately, that's all the time we had for today. I'd like to say thank you for watching, and if you guys would like to learn more, please reach out, as well as if you have any interest in checking out any of our online demos that we have the ability to do a live demo of any of our products right online, whether it ranges from the LN150 to UAVs, where we can do live flights over the internet, to our newest product, the GTL 1000, where we can show you how to take scans, how to work with it, how to register it, and how to get it to best fit your workflow. If you're interested in any of this, please head up to topconsolutions.com. You can see the address right above my head, and go over to contact us and let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear, and we can schedule a demo anytime you'd like. Thank you, guys.